There is a state which beheads and even crucifies its citizens, where those who question its authority are lashed and locked up for years. A state where women lack many basic rights, patrolled by religious police, where children are indoctrinated, but this is not the Islamic State. This is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. A close ally which buys billions of pounds worth of British arms, whose security forces we equip and train, even though they're in conflict with many of their own people, whose oil we buy, and whose royals get the red carpet treatment.
We have a relationship with Saudi Arabia because we receive from them important intelligence and security information that keep us safe.
Working with a team of Saudi undercover cameramen,
Watch this.
This film sets out to penetrate one of the world's most secretive and repressive states.
The women, they're imprisoned. They just fear freedom.
Because of American and European support to the Saudi monarchy, our people have suffered.
And we will uncover how Saudi money and ideology has helped drive terrorism around the world.
I think there's a very real threat that the ideology that comes from there is posing to us. Morally, we need to make a stand. I think that the chickens are coming home to roost on this one.
In January 2015, the Union Jack was flown at half-mast in Westminster. A very special mark of respect for a close ally. The Saudi ruler, King Abdullah, had died. Many world leaders came to the capital city, Riyadh, to pay tribute. In the same month, in another Saudi city, a young blogger was whipped in public. Raif Badawi was convicted of insulting Islam after he spoke out about his government and religion. He wrote, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." For comments like this, Badawi, a father of 3 young children, was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 1,000 lashes.
We don't approve of what Saudi Arabia does. We don't like what they do, but they are a necessary evil in combating other regimes. And of course, ultimately, they have a lot of oil.
No country is the perfect ally, perfect partner, without any reservations whatsoever. So, you know, welcome to the real world. Welcome to the Premier League.
كان بدنا يسب في السعودية ما بيشي يقول لا أنت بنت ترى أجداد تسمع يعني من أجدادها تسمع الشخص لما يبغى يتكلم لما يبغى يقول شيء ما يستطيع ما في أي حاجة داعي يعني فكانت السلطة تعتقل على الكتاب هوس الخوف هذا بيسيطر على الشعب كامل سواء كانوا شياب شباب أطفال.
Yasser is part of an underground network of activists in Saudi Arabia. It's one of the most secretive countries in the world. No journalist can operate freely, and you can't even get in as a tourist. So Yasser's come to Istanbul at great risk to collect an undercover camera. Over the next 6 months, he will be filming secretly inside Saudi Arabia. If caught, he'll be imprisoned.
من ناحية إنه في خبر، نعم في خبر، نبغى الناس تشوف، نبغى الناس تعرف يعني كيف إحنا عايشين في اضطهاد وفي ذل وفي استعباد. ألزمنا علي إني أوصل الصورة البائسة هذه للناس واللي يكون يكون.
2 days later, Yasser is flying back into Riyadh to begin filming undercover. In Saudi Arabia, the king is all-powerful. Since he came to the throne in 2015, King Salman's face looms large over the streets. Saudi Arabia is the home of Islam's holiest sites and the world's largest oil exporter. Its state oil company is worth an estimated £7 trillion. The royal family and their inner circle are worth billions. Yasser films an avenue of palaces. The external face of Saudi Arabia is ostentatious wealth and luxury shopping malls. But the global crash in oil prices has hit the Saudi economy hard. Despite spending billions on social welfare, it's been estimated up to a quarter of the population live in poverty.
في 3 عيال وهذه بنتي. ايش نعمل؟ ما يقدر البيت ما ترك الشارع.
راح اخليكم تشوفون وين هالناس عايشين.
This is how millions of Saudis live. A reality rarely seen by the world, because you can't film openly here.
الناس هنا عايشة في عذاب مهين. الواحد هناك تشيل خمسة. الأطفال يبيعون. لا إله إلا الله. الناس بالنسبة شوفوا كيف. شوفوا المجاري شوفوا. السوق. تكتب الماء وتشحن.
Yasser's in Saudi's second city, Jeddah. He shows us how women often end up begging on the streets. It's estimated only 1 in 5 Saudi women of working age have jobs. And without a man's support, many end up on the street. Yasser and his friend head down to the beach to play their lute. But before they even get there, they run into the religious police on patrol. In Saudi Arabia, playing music in public is forbidden by the religious police. After Yasser and his friends have been there for less than 5 minutes, the police return. This was the last shot recorded before Yasser's lute and hidden camera were smashed.
جيمس كسوني اصبعي اليوم وكسوني العود حتى.
For Yasser and his friends, the religious police are a constant menace. Their official title is the Committee for the Promotion of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice. They patrol the streets and shopping malls, enforcing strict Islamic laws. Activists like Yasser have been filming and sharing clips to expose what they say is their constant harassment. They force women to cover themselves and drive people out of cafes to go and pray. Their strict form of Sunni Islam is known as Wahhabism. It is the religion on which Saudi Arabia was founded. Here, the religious police are smashing bottles, thought to be alcohol. The majority of Saudis are thought to support the state Wahhabi ideology. filming secretly in a mosque, Yasser records this preacher spreading hatred of other religions. The state Wahhabi ideology is taught to Saudi children from an early age. Yasser films a 14-year-old Saudi boy showing him the books they use at his school. Books made in Saudi Arabia, but exported to the world.
يستخدمون في المدرسة طبعا الشيعة والكفار
المسيحيون هؤلاء حكمهم مقاتلتهم حتى ينتهوا طبعا هؤلاء سينحرون لأن بتعليم مدرس ما تستحيل.
The textbook doesn't just attack other religions. It portrays the Shia Muslim minority at home as the enemy.
طبعا ناخذ عن الشيعة أنهم رافضة مقاتلتهم وإبعادهم عن دين الإيمان لأنهم كفار ونقاتلهم حيث أمرنا دين الإسلام.
The Saudi education system has been intended as an insurance policy, as a security measure to protect the ruling family and to mislead the millions of students into hatred of other religions, other cultures, and into the worship of the Saudi ruling family.
Saudi Arabia is said to have made some progress reforming its textbooks, removing the worst examples of prejudice. But these books are still found in mosques and schools around the world, everywhere from Britain to areas of Syria controlled by ISIS.
No wonder thousands of Saudis joined ISIS and other terror group, because they were trained in Saudi schools.
From the foundation of Saudi Arabia, the support of the religious establishment has been central to the royal family's grip on power. The regime uses traditional Islamic punishments. Executions are often carried out publicly with one sword blow to the neck. The headless bodies are sometimes then displayed publicly. According to human rights groups, King Salman has asserted his rule by stepping up the rate of executions to its highest level for 20 years. In 2015, Saudi Arabia executed 157 people. This Burmese woman was convicted of killing her stepdaughter. This was filmed by a policeman. He was later arrested after posting it online. The Saudi government claims that only the most serious criminals are executed, and punishments are carried out in line with Sharia law. They say trials are fair, though human rights groups disagree.
في النهاية تكمل فهم العربيين تسجيلهم تعتقلهم تعتدي عليهم. لا أعتقد أن هذا الإسلام، لا أعتقد أن هذه الدولة أصلا تمت الإسلام بصلة. لكن مش الناس كلها عندها غضب، لكن المشكلة ما حد يقدر يتكلم. كل الناس تخاف الاعتقاد. هم كلهم يبغون يخلون كل شيء بالخفي، لأنه لو سمحوا بالحرية وبالكلام يعني بتكون بداية سقوط نظامهم يعني.
In Saudi Arabia, criticizing the government, criticizing religious people are considered as acts of terror. And people are reporting on each other, targeting their fellow citizens. So everyone becomes, more religious than ever. Everybody becomes more pro-government than ever. So we're going into a fascist society.
The Saudi government says the anti-terror law strikes a balance between prevention of crimes and protection of human rights, according to Islamic law. One activist's story, more than any other, encapsulates Saudi suppression of free speech.
موقع الليبراليين السعوديون هو أثار حفيظة المتشددين بصفة عامة في السعودية لأنه كان يفضح ممارسات.
This is Raif Badawi, speaking before his eventual arrest in 2012.
هم وعلى وجه الخصوص ممارسات في الأمر معروف والنهي عن المنكر، فذلك حملهم على محاولة تخويفي ومحاكمتي في الموقع الليبرالي السعودي على أنه يسيء للإسلام.
هذه الساحة ورسم جمالي في جلد الأخ بدوي. أنا أعتقد أن رايف شخص أبدع برايه بكل احترام، لم يرفع سلاح، لم يقتل أحد، لم يفجر، لم يكفر مثل ما فعلت السلطة.
For most of his sentence, Raif has been held in one of Saudi Arabia's most notorious prisons, Bremen. Saudi Arabia shows outsiders state-of-the-art prisons, but people rarely see the reality. Since Raif was imprisoned, Yasser's network has managed to smuggle camera phones into Bremen. What they found was chaos and lawlessness, and prisoners injecting themselves. Here, a prisoner is abused by his fellow inmates. The British government had approved a £6 million contract to train Saudis on how to run its prisons. Amid the international outcry about cases like Raif Badawi's, it decided to cancel the deal, saying it was focusing its resources on domestic priorities. Raif Badawi has received no more lashes since the first 50, but his sentence of 10 years still stands. Thousands of miles away, his wife Ensaf and 3 children have received asylum after escaping Saudi Arabia. They haven't seen their father for 4 years.
انت بتعرف وين هو بابا؟ وين؟
بالسجن.
بالسجن ليش؟
ليش ما أعرف.
شو عمل؟
بس هو ما عمل شيء، بس لأنه كتب وبعدين هذا وبعدين راح على السجن. بقول يا ريت إنه أرجع وأقول له إنه ما